Hey guys, welcome to Hello Hips. Let's go ahead and get started. If you don't have a mat, that's totally fine. You don't need one. You can be on a towel or a blanket or anything like that. It's totally cool. But we're just gonna be mostly on the ground, obviously because we're working on our hips. We will start standing just to ground here and to just be present in the moment where we are and to focus in on our hips and the feeling that we get. So keeping your feet spread apart, pressing into the ground, shoulders back and down. My face is gone, but you'll see me when I get down on the ground. So just nice deep breaths here. Focusing all your intention on this area here on your pelvis and your glutes and where your hip joints are. Just thinking about how it feels to sit down when you bend and to bend your legs when you go upstairs and when you get down on the ground to play with your kids or to play with your dog. Just thinking about those spaces. And now we'll take it all the way down to the ground. Nice and easy. And we'll get right into our cobbler pose or our butterfly pose. So we'll sit and we'll make sure that our sit bones are on the ground. So if you have to walk it out a little bit, that's fine. Soles of the feet together. And we're just going to roll our shoulders back, hold on to the ankles. We're not pushing anything down right now. We're just kind of settling into this position to get our minds mentally ready to open up our hips. So we just want to let our hips just feel how they feel. Just inhale deeply and think about bringing oxygen to this hip area. Breathing nice and slow. Just letting your hips fall naturally, not pressing them down. Not being aggressive with them, just really just being gentle and letting your body move the way it needs to move. And you'll notice that one side may be a little bit looser than the other side, and that's totally fine. That's just something that you have to be mindful of and make sure that you are working on when you're doing your stretching. And you'll feel periodically too that your hips are releasing as well. Breathing deep. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and head onto all fours, nice and gentle, just rolling over. And we'll do a couple of cat-cows here. So drop in the belly, arch in the back, exhaling here, drop in the belly, inhale, arch in the back to exhale. One more, drop in the belly, arch in the back to exhale. Nice. So we're going to bring our right leg forward, nice distance away from our back leg, and we're going to make sure that we have our knees stacked over our ankle, and we're just going to lean into that hip. So we're leaning into the left hip here. Our hands are still on the ground. If you want, you can bring yourself up to this position if it's not too much. And then if you want a little bit extra into that hip, you can bring that left leg up and pull it straight back so that you can really lean into that hip and get that stretch. So there's plenty of levels for you wherever you are. And we'll go ahead and push those hips back. And you'll feel this in your hamstrings as well, but that goes all the way up as well into your glutes. So you'll feel that into your glutes too. And if you open up that leg a little bit, you'll feel it. And if you turn it the other way, so there's just some gentle movements that you can do to open up those hips. So we'll walk back forward, tuck that back leg, bring it up, bring the right back to meet the left, and switch it out. Just like that. So we're leaning into that right hip. And like I said, you can have your hands down, you can be up, or you can take that left hand, swing it around, and grab that right leg to really open up that right hip. And you'll feel it immediately. So wherever you feel it, just stay there and breathe through it so that you don't overdo it and you actually get the benefits of the stretch. Go ahead and push those hips back and rotate that leg out a little bit. Rotate it in. And then come back forward. Plant the hands, bring the feet back. And we're gonna come right back into our tabletop. So next we're going to go into a pose that is very challenging for most people. It's gonna be where we have our knees separate. And we're going to just be really, this is a very intense pose. So work where you are. If you need to get blankets or you need to roll up your mat so that you can actually rest your knees on it, that's totally fine. The goal here is to keep the knees in line with the ankles, keep the feet flexed towards your face, and spread the knees as far as you can until you feel stretch. And then you want to push the hips back. So I'll do it in this direction here first so you can see that my knees are in line with my ankles, and then I'll turn. So knees are as wide as they can be without pain. Knees are in line with the ankles, so they're not here or too far out. They're like right in line. And then you're pushing back those hips so that you can feel that stretch and that opening in the hip joint. So we'll just sit here for a second. It's going to be uncomfortable, but discomfort and pain are two different things. So if you feel pain, definitely back off. If you're feeling discomfort, breathe through it. Just think about the oxygen going to your hips and you'll start to feel a release. Try to relax tension, release the tension in your jaw, your forehead. And if you have the mobility and the range of motion, you can bring it down to your elbows. That way you can push those hips just a little bit farther back. So this is a very intense pose. You might even have some emotions that come up because our hips often store emotions. So just be mindful of that. Let the thoughts come, let the emotions come, experience them, and just work through them. It's totally fine. This is a mind-body connection, so it's important that we are in tune with ourselves as a whole. So we're still here, guys. We're breathing. We're relaxing into the pose. So every time you feel like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad, just push back just a little tiny bit more until you feel that discomfort and sit in that discomfort just a little bit. Awesome job, guys. This is a very challenging pose, so you guys are doing great. So we'll go ahead and walk it up if you're on your elbows. And the best way to get out of this pose is to walk forward, let your knees straighten out, and then you can walk your legs back under. And we'll bring it right into a child's pose, bringing those knees right under the hips together and just stretching it out, just giving them some release. Awesome job. So we'll go ahead and flip it onto our back. And we'll actually windshield wiper our legs. So just back and forth a couple of times. Just noticing how your hips are feeling at this moment. We'll take that right leg over that left leg. We'll thread the little triangle that is created. And we'll hold onto our thigh. We'll use our right elbow to push on our right thigh, our right leg, our right thigh or our right knee, and that'll open up our hip here and our glute, and you'll feel the stretch. So you're pushing with your elbow to push your right knee out, and you're also pulling in on your left leg. So there's a lot of moving parts here. Just be mindful of the difference between pain and discomfort, and breathe where you are. Nice big deep breaths here. Calming the mind, focusing on just releasing any tension in those hips, and you'll feel it. You'll feel, your bones and your muscles will start to just relax, and you'll feel a release, which is what we're looking for here. A couple more seconds and we'll switch sides. Awesome job. Plant that left foot nice and gentle. Bring that right leg down. And we'll just straighten our legs out really quick. Shake them out. Feel how different that right hip feels compared to the left hip. Bring those legs back up. Left ankle over the right knee. Threading the triangle. Grabbing onto that left or that right thigh. Taking that left elbow and pushing that left knee up as we bring the right thigh in. And immediately you can feel the opening in that hip. Every exhale, try to just bring it in just a little bit more. As long as you're not hurting yourself, just to challenge that hip. As we get older, our hips get more and more fragile, especially if you're a woman. So it's very important that we have the mobility in our hips. We have that synovial fluid moving around in our joint, and we're staying hydrated and we're moving. So movement is the key, guys. One more deep breath here. Relax and release that right leg down. Bring those legs all the way down, shake them out. Nice job. Next, we're going to bring those knees right back up again. And we're going to go into our happy baby pose. So what we're going to do is bring those knees into the chest. Just kind of get settled here. Nice little compression on the stomach and the lower spine. Want to keep our spine flat on the ground. Rock a little bit just to get those legs ready. So we're going to take both of our hands on the outsides of our feet, and we're going to lift our heels up to the sky. So this is happy baby because this is a position that oftentimes you see babies in, so that's why I wanted that. So we want to make sure that that ankle stays stacked over that knee. You know, it's my favorite thing in the world, keeping that ankle over that knee, and we're driving our knees into the ground. So we want to make sure that we don't have that arch in our back when our legs are up. We really want to push our lower back into the ground and let our hips come up and open up in this position. So we're sitting here and we're not being aggressive with a pull. We're kind of just guiding our knees closer to the ground, which with each breath opening up those hips. And then if you'd like a little more, you can rock back and forth, straightening out one leg, straightening out the other. Nice and easy, slow movements, guys, slow and controlled as we continue to breathe here. Or you can just straighten both legs at the same time, trying to keep that lower back on the ground. You get a real good stretch in your entire leg as well as in those hips. So like I said, there's multiple options for you. Right now, we're just going to focus on this. Unless this is not enough, then you can go further. Nice job, guys. 2 more deep breaths here. Nice job. Go ahead and release those feet. Bring them down to the ground, nice and easy. Awesome work. And go ahead and shake those legs out. Last but not least, we'll do about 60 seconds of deep breathing in our cobbler pose again, but this time we're going to lay down. So if you need something to hold under here, that's totally fine. You can grab a block. If you have some pillows, or you can stack some blankets or something like that, or some towels, that's great. Otherwise, we're just sitting here. We're going to let our legs naturally fall to the ground to naturally open up. That way our hips are getting oxygen. They're being released from the crunching of just sitting all day. A lot of us are working from home at a desk. So we're sitting, we're crunched all day. This will just help to open it up. So go ahead and just let your legs fall where they fall. Really think about releasing all control and just letting them be where they're at. And then just breathe in space and mobility and oxygen and new blood to those hips and release everything that keeps them clenched and tight. So we'll take about 60 seconds here, and this will be our final stretch. Nice big deep breaths in through your nose, filling up your lungs, filling up your gut, sending that oxygen to those hips. And if you need a reminder, go ahead and put those hands on those hips, and that'll kind of help you have that mind-muscle connection where you're thinking about that oxygen coming in and going to your hips. We've got about 20 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and assist our legs closing. So we're going to take the bottom of our hand, we're going to take our hands on the bottom of our legs, and we're just going to gently aid and guide our legs together. Nice job. And then we'll turn to the side, press up nice and easy. And that's going to be your Hello Hips class today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks a lot. It was great having you. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, if you joined in for my little hip opening class, I appreciate you. Thanks for the gifts.